Ego is a mask painted with lies, stitched together with fear. They wear it like armor, parading through life pretending it makes them untouchable. But here's the truth. Every mask cracks. Every crown is hollow. And when you learn to see through it, when you pierce past the surface, you realize their pride isn't strength. It's weakness dressed in costume. They're fragile, and fragility always breaks in the ugliest ways. You don't break an ego with noise. You break it with precision. You aim for the cracks, not the walls. You find that one insecurity they guard like a secret treasure, and you drop it, casual, cold, like tossing gasoline on a lit match. Watch their eyes twitch, watch their smile falter. That's the moment you win. That's the moment they crumble without a single fist thrown. Poetry in destruction. And oh, how they scramble when it happens. The louder they shout, the more broken they are. The angrier they get, the weaker they become. It's a dance where their rage is the music, and your silence is the rhythm. You don't need to raise your voice. No, you let them expose themselves. You let them destroy their own illusion, because that's the sweetest kill, the kill they commit on themselves. Egos don't die with battles. They die with truth. And truth is a blade sharper than any weapon forged. It cuts through arrogance. It slices through pride. And the blood it spills, oh, it's invisible, but it stains forever. They'll remember your words in the dead of night. They'll hear your voice when no one's around. They'll hate you for it. They'll fear you for it. But deep down, they'll never forget you. And isn't that the point? To etch yourself into their memories so deeply they can't erase you, no matter how hard they try. That's power. Not borrowed, not begged for, but taken, claimed, seared into their mind like fire branding skin. Every empire has fallen this way, not by the sword, but by the whisper, by the sentence they weren't prepared to face. And yours will be the last thing they ever hear before it all collapses. So let them keep building their castles of pride. Let them stack their bricks of arrogance higher and higher. Because when you strike, you won't need an army. You won't need a bullet. All you'll need is one perfectly placed word. And when it lands, their empire won't just fall. It'll shatter into dust, into echoes, into nothing. And you'll stand there, the architect of their ruin. Every sentence is a bullet, every word a blade, and the tongue, the deadliest weapon ever designed. You don't need a gun to end someone, you just need the courage to speak the words they fear most. The words that slice through their armor and leave their pride bleeding in silence. It's a beautiful thing, watching a single phrase do what armies could not. Watching an empire crumble from nothing more than a whisper. Think of it, bullets tear flesh. But words tear souls. They don't heal with bandages. They don't fade with time. No, they rot inside. They echo at 3 a.m. when the world is asleep. They eat them alive from the inside out, until all that's left is a shadow of who they pretended to be. That's the power you hold every time your mouth opens. That's the chaos sleeping on your tongue. But don't waste it. No, you don't fire wildly. You don't throw words around like confetti. Every shot must count. Every word must land where it hurts the most. Precision, accuracy. You study them. You wait. You find that weakness, the soft spot beneath the crown. And then you strike. One line, one truth, one cold delivery. And just like that, their empire burns in silence. The world taught you to speak politely, to bite your tongue, to play nice. Huh. What a joke. Nice words don't carve history, sharp ones do. The kind that explode in someone's head and leave them questioning everything. The kind that hit so hard they replay them for years. Words are not for comfort. Words are for impact. And if you're afraid of impact, you've already lost. Understand this. Those who rule with arrogance fear words more than weapons. They can dodge a punch. They can block a bullet. But a sentence lodges itself inside their skull and festers. It doesn't go away. It haunts them. It rewrites who they think they are. That's the true war. Not on the battlefield. Not in blood. But in the mind. In the echo chamber where your words won't stop screaming. So load your arsenal wisely. Sharpen your language until it cuts like glass. Learn the rhythm of destruction. When to pause. When to laugh. When to drop the final line like a guillotine. Because once you understand the weight of your own voice, you'll never need bullets. You'll never need fists. You'll realize you've been carrying the deadliest weapon of all along. And when you use it, nothing and no one survives. The deadliest moment isn't the strike. It's the pause before it. That silence. That breath. That second where the air thickens and everyone waits for the sound. Silence is the trigger you never see coming. It's the storm before the lightning splits the sky. And when you master silence, you control the battlefield without even moving. That's when they start shaking. Not because of what you said, but because of what you haven't said yet. Picture it. A crowded room, everyone loud. Everyone desperate to be heard. But you sit back, quiet, watching, studying. And in that stillness they feel your presence more than anyone else. They wonder what you're thinking. They wonder what you're planning. That wondering eats them alive. Because silence is never empty. Silence is a loaded gun. And the trigger is in your patience. You don't rush. Weak men rush. Weak men bark like dogs to prove they exist. But power doesn't bark. Power waits. Power studies. Power breathes slow, and then when the moment is perfect, it explodes. One word. One line. And because you held it back so long, it hits like thunder. It drowns every other sound. It rips through their pride like shrapnel. Silence makes your words heavier than bullets. But here's the catch. Silence takes control of you first. It's hard, isn't it, to bite your tongue when you want to spit fire? To sit still when your blood screams for war. That's the test. That's the discipline. And when you conquer that, you're untouchable. Because the one who controls silence controls chaos. They won't admit it. But silence terrifies them more than screams. A scream ends. It peaks. It dies. But silence stretches forever. It makes them question everything. Did you hear them? Did you see them? Are you planning something? Did they already lose? Silence leaves them with no answers. And unanswered questions are the sharpest blades of all. So don't just sharpen your words. Sharpen your pauses. Let them lean in, hungry for your response. Let them drown in the unknown. And when you finally break the silence, oh, they'll wish you hadn't. Because silence doesn't just build suspense. It multiplies destruction. And when the strike finally comes, it's not just heard. It's felt. In their bones. In their pride. In their empire's ash. Every ego hides a mask. Painted bright. Polished clean. They wear it like a crown, daring the world to believe it's real. But the truth? That mask is brittle. It's paper over a wound. It's glass hiding a crack. And when you know where to press, it shatters, loud, ugly, beyond repair. You see, masks are built to protect. Protect the insecurity. Protect the weakness. Protect the fear they'll never admit to anyone. And that's where you strike. Not at the surface. Not at the show. You go deeper. You aim at the truth they bury. You drag it into the light. And the moment it shows, they crumble. They break. Because nothing terrifies them more than being seen for what they really are. Think of it, kings screaming like children when their flaws are exposed. Warriors dropping their swords when their lies collapse. That's the power of shattering masks. You don't have to fight them. You don't have to bleed. You just force them to face the mirror they've avoided their whole life. And the reflection? Oh, it kills them faster than any bullet. But here's the art. You don't rip the mask off all at once. No, you chip at it. Slowly, casually, with laughter, with words disguised as jokes, with questions that cut sharper than knives. Every crack you make weakens the mask until snap it falls apart. And when it falls, there's no rebuilding it. They're exposed, naked, and everyone sees what they've been hiding. That exposure burns worse than fire. Because once the mask breaks, so does the illusion. Their power doesn't come from truth. It comes from the mask. And when you destroy it, you don't just wound them, you erase them. That's the real kill. Not death, not destruction, erasure. They become nothing more than the lie they couldn't hold together. So remember this, don't fight the mask. Break it. Don't argue with the illusion. Expose it. Because once the mask shatters, so does the ego. So does the throne. So does the empire. And all that remains is silence. The kind of silence that doesn't heal. The kind that haunts forever. That's the real crown. That's the real throne. When they can't predict you, they can't control you. And when they can't control you, they fear you. Fear is the strongest leash and chaos snaps it in half. Predictability is comfort. Routine is safety. But chaos is a fire they can't put out. It spreads. It consumes. It laughs at their rules while turning their order into ashes. They want you neat. They want you scripted. They want you to play by their laws so they can measure you, box you, break you. But when you move like smoke, when you bend like shadows, their system collapses. You become untouchable because chaos doesn't answer to order. Chaos isn't bound by symmetry. Chaos is the art of destruction and the birth of something terrifyingly new. You see, they call it madness when they can't understand it. They call it dangerous when they can't control it. But madness is just freedom with teeth. Chaos is freedom that bites, that claws, that bleeds truth. It terrifies them because it reminds them that nothing is permanent. Not their rules, not their empires, not their crowns. Everything burns when chaos laughs. And here's the beauty, they never see it coming. Because you can't predict someone who doesn't play by the game. You smile when they expect anger. You laugh when they expect fear. You stay silent when they expect rage. And then bang, you strike when they thought you were gone. That unpredictability is power, pure unfiltered power. They call you reckless. They call you unstable. But what they really mean is this: you can't be owned. And nothing is more dangerous than someone who doesn't belong to their system. Chaos doesn't follow maps. Chaos redraws them. with fire, with ash, with bloodless victories that leave no survivors, only ruins. So let them build their walls, let them write their rules. Chaos doesn't climb walls, it erases them. Chaos doesn't obey rules, it rewrites them. And when you embrace it, when you become it, you stop being part of their story. You become the nightmare in the margins, the shadow between lines, the force that tears the page in half. That's chaos, that's power, and that's the only throne worth sitting on. The sharpest blade you'll ever wield is their own reflection. Oh yes, you don't always have to strike. Sometimes you just hold up a mirror and let them bleed themselves out. The truth is, people fear their own words more than yours. They fear the echo that proves their mask is cracked. Their lies are flimsy, their pride is hollow. And when you mirror them, you make them drown in themselves. You see, hypocrisy doesn't need to be attacked. It needs to be exposed. Just repeat their words back to them. Slowly, calmly, with a smile. Watch them twitch. Watch them scramble. They'll twist and turn trying to escape the reflection. But there's nowhere to run, because a mirror doesn't lie. And when you make them face it, they'll tear themselves apart just to avoid what they see. The mirror is war without bullets, a battlefield with no weapons. Just truth, just silence, just their own poison fed back into their veins. And here's the trick: you don't overplay it. You don't scream it, you whisper it. You lace it with irony, with humor, with that Joker laugh that lets them know you see through everything. Nothing enrages an ego more than being exposed by its own words. I've seen men beg for mercy not from knives, not from fists, but from mirrors. They can survive pain, they can survive wounds, but they can't survive truth. Truth infects, truth burns from the inside, and once it's in, there's no cure. They'll beg you to stop, they'll beg you to lie, but you just keep holding the mirror steady. And the best part, you don't even have to push. They collapse on their own. They destroy themselves. You just stand there, silent, smiling, as they wage war against the reflection. And when the dust settles, when the mask is gone and the ego is dead, they'll hate you forever. But deep down, they'll know you didn't kill them. You just showed them the blade. That's the mirror war. It's not loud, it's not bloody, but it's final. Because once someone sees their truth, once you force them to choke on their own reflection, they'll never be whole again. They'll carry that fracture forever, and you'll carry the victory without lifting a finger. That's the elegance of destruction. That's chaos in its purest form. Silence. The weapon no one respects until it devours them. You don't need to shout to dominate. You don't need to fight to win. Just sit, just watch, just exist, and let the emptiness in the room do the work. Every heartbeat, every glance, every twitch becomes louder than a riot. Silence is the battlefield where empires fall without a sound. They chatter, they plot, they scramble, but you don't move. You don't react. You let them fill the air with their own chaos while you remain untouchable. Every attempt they make to control the situation only feeds your power. Every word they throw is a brick in the coffin you built with nothing but stillness. They are prisoners of the quiet, and you hold the keys. The beauty of silence is that it's invisible. They never see it coming. They can't measure it. They can't predict it. They only feel it deep in their bones, as dread creeping up their spine. It whispers that something is coming, that something is wrong, that something is already too late. And that whisper, oh, that whisper is louder than any scream they could ever make. And the paradox? The less you speak, the more they speak for you. Their fear, their guilt, their uncertainty, everything they think they hide, everything they try to control pours into the void. They are unraveling while you do nothing. Nothing but breathe, nothing but exist. Nothing but let the silence crush them with invisible hands. But beware, silence is a weapon only in the hands of the patient. Wield it wrong and it just becomes empty. Wield it right, and it's apocalypse. Every pause, every glance, every calculated absence amplifies the destruction. They'll beg for noise, they'll crave distraction. But you remain still, the eye in the storm, the calm before the obliteration. And when the strike finally comes, oh, when the words or actions finally break that quiet, the impact is unstoppable. They don't see it. They don't hear it. They only feel it. It lands like lightning in their chest. And in that moment they know silence was never passive. Silence was always the executioner. And you were always the one holding the blade. Burn it all. Every version of yourself they think they know. Every label. Every expectation, every lie they've built around who you are. Set it on fire. Because they don't fear change. They fear the unknown. And when you rise from your own ashes, oh, they'll tremble. They'll curse the day they ever defined you. Reinvention isn't polite. It isn't slow. It isn't safe. It's chaos made flesh. It's a wildfire consuming old versions, old habits, old identities, until all that remains is power distilled into its purest form. And the beauty? You don't need their approval. You don't need their understanding. You need only your courage to burn and rebuild. They'll try to box you in. They'll try to tell you who you are, who you should be, who you are allowed to become. Laugh, because the cage is yours to burn. And once it's gone, the horizon expands. Boundaries don't exist. Limits are illusions. The person they expected, dead. The person you've created, unstoppable. And oh, how they watch, the very same people who laughed, who doubted, who dismissed, stare in horror as you transform before their eyes. They don't recognize you. They can't predict you. They can't touch you. And that fear, that terror, that's the true victory. Not revenge, not destruction, just the quiet obliteration of expectation. The fire of self-reinvention is lonely. It's brutal. It's exhausting. But every ember strengthens your spine. Every scar fuels your voice. Every mistake carved into your flesh becomes a weapon. And when you finally step forward, you're no longer the person they underestimated. You're a storm, a force, a sentence written in fire that refuses to be erased. So rise, burn what they think you are, shatter what they expect. Laugh